Do you think there's something to that? Like, as in, so do you think cake? You shouldn't. You're meant to have cake and share it with friends, and you're not meant to talk or something. We're eating cake, by the way.
Meant to have cake and eat it.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
But like, so Rich's wife Fiona's made pumpkin and nutmeg cupcakes. I think.
Yeah.
Delicious. But I was just bemoaning how hard it is to do a podcast with cake in your mouth. But
something tells me we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing it. It's happening now. So it's currently rolling. So
surprise.
Yeah. But I don't know. Just something about cake. Like I say, it just fills my mouth up with, like, you know, too much to talk.
Hi, you're listening to Living La Vita Loca. We're eating cake.
Wait a minute. What? You started to do the intro. You don't do the intro. You can do the intro if you want to, though.
I've already done it.
Oh, shit.
It's happened.
Yeah,
missed it.
That's fine. I'm Rich.
I'm Faz.
It's gone wrong. See, already I'm like trying to store the cake into my cheeks rather than get through it.
Yeah.
And get on with the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm storing it.
So going into squirrel mode over there. You see, unfortunately, if I start making you laugh while you're trying to eat cake as well,
I'm going to choke.
Worse.
I'm going to choke on it. I'm going to need the rest of my Pepsi Max Mango from last time. I need it. Okay. So
monkeys.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's talk monkeys.
Let's go ape shit. So, I like monkeys. Do you like monkeys?
Well, I don't actively dislike them. I don't wish harm to monkeys. But without wishing to sound too wanky, right? I was on a holiday once, and we were in Cambodia. We were lucky enough to go to Angkor, right?
Yep.
You know, big jungly temples and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
They had a marathon on, like early one morning.
Monkey marathon?
No, but marathon runners running past monkeys.
Yeah, I mean, that's good enough for me.
One marathon runner, close to the end of the race, decided to try and eat a banana to fuel his, journey to the finish line.
I'm sorry.
I kid you not, one of these monkeys, properly like bared fangs, started waving like properly going literally ape shit at this marathon runner, to the extent he had to just like throw the banana down, keep running, and he looked really disappointed. And the monkey got a banana.
I'm so happy you told that story.
I've been saving that for a fucking fortnight, that one. I've been that close to telling you that story ahead of this. I was like, you know what? No.
Couldn't wait to tell the monkey story. It had to be on this podcast.
Yep.
Oh, man. But, like,
fucking vicious.
Yeah, I was gonna come to that point, that real life monkeys are nowhere near as fun as video game or movie or cartoon monkeys, are they?
No, they're not.
Everyone makes out monkeys are nice and fun, like a Boo from Aladdin, and actually they're just fucking bastards mostly. Yeah. They get on your car at the safari park and rip your aerial off. Back in the 90s on your Ford Orion. That's what you used to do. Oh, wind the windows up before the monkeys jump in and chew you and give you tetanus or something. Oh, but I want that to happen, Dad. No, you don't, you fucking idiot. All right, Dad, sorry.
Are you having a flashback?
Maybe. It's the cake. So monkeys in real life can do one, is what we're saying. Yeah. Monkeys in video games, welcome?
No, I can also do one.
Oh, okay.
I mean, monkeys in video games peaked with Time Splitters 2.
Yes. And he had a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's fair.
End of discussion, really, isn't it?
Okay. So, we're...
I love how you're just going with that.
3 minutes 50, yeah. Yep. Well, I can't think... Well, let's at least ruminate on that.
On monkeys.
Yeah, on monkeys. Well, that sounds weird. I still can't get over how good your monkey story was. So, yeah, if you think that is true, then what we're about to say is probably going to be bad reviews on some games about monkeys. You're so not into this podcast. Like, it's just like, you could have told me before we started recording for people that you were like, I'm not going to give a fuck about this.
This is way more entertaining.
Right, so... What are you reviewing and what am I reviewing? I'll go first, but you tell me what you're reviewing first.
I am reviewing Super Monkey Ball Banana Splitz.
And that is for
PS
the
Vita.
PS Vita.
Emphasis on the Z in Splitz, by the way.
Yeah.
That is the level we are talking.
Did you ever watch the Banana Splitz? That was like a na 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 na.
No, I was more of a bananas in pajamas. That's as far as I go with bananas.
They're still around, in a weird, freaky CGI mode. And
no, that's not right.
But to be honest, the storylines are really fucked. That is in they don't make I think one time they were trying to make a cloud cry to get rain, but it just there's some weird character, even weirder than Banana 1, Banana 2 characters in that thing. I highly disrecommend whatever that might be.
Was it all revolving around wearing rhyming items of clothing?
No, not enough. Not enough for me. There wasn't enough of that. Anyway, Splitz Z. That's where we got to from there.
Yep.
And I am reviewing Ape Academy. Ape Escape, Ape Academy. Or is it just Ape Academy? It's different in a lot of different countries, but it's the spin-off of Ape Escape party game, Ape Academy.
Right.
There we go. So not Ape Escape P, which is the PlayStation portable port of the first game,
is that
Ape Escape.
Escapee as in escape EE or escape P?
P.
Right, okay.
How shit is that as a title?
Escape space P.
How did they let that title Escape P
Escape
into the wild?
Ape Escape P.
Ape Escape P. The letter P was the
rather
PlayStation portable. Yeah, I know. Or Ape Escape PSP or anything. It was just Ape Escape P. It was the port of the 1999 PlayStation 1 game to the PlayStation Portable, which actually was quite favourably reviewed. I never played it.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I never played it for the PSP because Ape Escape, as a concept, was based. It was effectively just a tech demo for both analog sticks. The two analog sticks that you got with your PlayStation 1 controller.
Eventually,
yeah. I think I bought I was lucky because I got a PlayStation 1 pretty much as analog sticks were in. Do you know what I mean? I think I was that was when I first got my PlayStation. I'm sure it was 99 that I got my PlayStation, because it wasn't that long after I got my PlayStation 2 my mum was like, "What are you doing?" The reinvestment. But yeah, so anyway, Ape Academy is the PSP party game, Ape Escape.
Right. So not even full fat Ape Escape.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So bit weird. I won't lie. Because I didn't really. Did I? I was going to say I didn't realise I needed this game. I still don't realise I need this game. So yeah, it's set the Ape Escape world,
right?
And you
such as it is,
yeah. And effectively,
the Ape Escape-averse.
P. And you are you're an evil. You're one of the monkeys that's had the time sort of brain siren thing of to your.
Do you ever hear yourself?
Yeah, I have to review the podcast before we set it into the wild, and I have to listen. And a lot of the time, it sounds better than it did when it came out.
Can't wait to hear this one.
Yeah, the siren thing, brainwashing my Bobby thing on top of the monkeys.
Yeah. That caused them to escape?
Yeah, I think it did.
I know very little about this series.
Oh,
basically,
you never played Ape Escape?
Not really.
Oh, no. Right, okay.
As far as I got with it was the little add-in they had for Metal Gear Solid 3.
Oh, yeah. That was fun though, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. But
have you heard that that's not been kept in the Master Collection?
That's hardly a surprise, though.
I know. I've heard really bad things about the MGS Master Collection, where it's just they've done nothing to it and we're charging £60, and you think they would do something. I
don't know. Considering what we were saying last time about Symphony of the Night and the GTA trilogy and stuff like that, I can see the argument for not doing much.
Yeah, I get it, but taking the monkey thing
the
monkey thing was really fun.
Yeah.
Anyway. So Ape Escape. I only played the first game as the mainline games, and it was pretty good. I've got it, in fact. But I was almost thinking about playing it again for this, but I thought, no, Ape Academy really needs the focus.
You don't want too many monkeys.
There was too much Ape Escape. But I had really fond memories. It was, in fact, I think the copy I've got might still even be the copy that I had initially, all that time ago, because it's still got EB written on it. And I think I've spoken about this recently in the podcast, maybe at some point, where that means Electronic Boutique.
Yeah.
And that was the forerunner, pre whatever it was, requisite, I don't know what I'm talking about anymore, of some of the gaming shops that are, Game, for example, that are on the high street now. But so I think that it was a good series, as a mainline series. This, I don't know if they needed to make spin-off party games, but they have.
Yeah.
And they made 2 of them for the PSP.
Really?
Yeah.
Got a sequel?
Snuck by you, didn't it? It was
Well,
waving a banana in the air, throwing shit at you. So the idea is that you are one of the bad monkeys, and you, Specter, who is the evil villain of the piece, who is kind of half man, half monkey. I feel like he's a monkey that's got a man's brain. The less I know about this, the better it sounds. Because it's a little bit more fun. And he's actually, he's voiced by, there's going to be like, nobody listens to this, let's get this reference, but the person who voices him voices Grandmaster Glitch in Go Jetters, a CBeebies production. So, for those crossover people, if anybody at all listens to this podcast and has ever played Ape Academy or intends to, and also has watched or intends to watch Go Jetters, our Venn diagrams are currently, all over each other.
On lock.
Yeah. So, Specter basically is training you as one of his evil monkeys to be evil.
By doing party games.
By doing party games. But the party games are like a Rocky montage, sort of dissected. So you have to do the tutorial. The tutorial is basically just effectively a version of Parappa the Rapper, where you get symbols moving across the screen while this big giant red monkey shouts at you in a superhero's outfit. It's really weird. And you're just training on the beach. But weirdly enough, coming back to Metal Gear Solid, just like Peace Walker, there's a sequence in Peace Walker where you train to do Snake's CQC.
Yeah, on the beach.
Starting out on the beach.
Yeah.
Same thing. Exact same thing is happening with these monkeys.
Is that deliberate? Could that be a deliberate
Of course
nod?
it could be. But also at the same time, but when were they released?
That's the thing, because if you end up with Ape Escape in Metal Gear Solid 3...
Yeah, it makes sense.
That maybe
absolutely makes sense, yeah. But it's almost like at the same time...
utterly pointless and ridiculous.
Yeah. We'll get there. Another utterly and pointless, ridiculous sort of feature of this game is that you can play multiplayer by passing the PSP around. It's like, I'm like...
Kind of like you like with Worms or something?
Yeah, I get that it's portable, but Worms, you can definitely do that with Worms. Whereas with this, it was a bit like you just do a party game and pass it to your mate across the room who does another version of the party game, whatever. It seemed really strange. I didn't understand that as a concept. So you play... Again, I don't know why you do this. You go through school years, effectively, in the academy, up to 7 years, and in each school year, you can play up to 9 mini games, of which the 9 is set in a grid like tic-tac-toe or noughts and crosses.
Yep.
And you have to, so for example, in year 1, you have to make 1 line. So you have to be able to complete 3 mini games and successfully.
Yeah.
But you'll do more than that. But it also, like, for example, in year 1, it'll set you up with maybe like 2 circles already, and you are trying to make, so it's almost like you could pretty much complete and be successful at 1 mini game and make a diagonal line. But you get to do all of the squares. So in year 1, it'll say, right, you play 7 mini games, and you could get them all correct, and you could be really successful at all of them, or you could maybe just get 1 and actually end up completing a line and be able to move up to year 2. It's a very weird sort of macabre way to sort of like
graduate by completing this board.
Yeah. It's just like making monkeys do very weird tasks to make them more evil. I don't really understand the plan of Spectre. But yeah, it is weird, and it's almost like, and then you do it through it. It's like this is a party game, so you have to play a party game of noughts and crosses to move on in the game. I don't think I'm explaining this badly at all. Like, it sounds like I am, but I'm not. It's stupid. It's fucking stupid. It's inane. There is the ability to collect figurines while you're playing the games. I detest figurine collection in games. I don't understand it. What am I collecting? Virtual figurines for to put in. Usually, it's into like a museum in a menu or something like that. Like, is in
a virtual mantelpiece.
Yeah. I don't get it. Like, why do games do that? Like, who? Like, I guess this must have been. I guess maybe it was pre-trophy. It was that sort of, you know, you get your gold, silver, platinums, and you could show them off to your friends. Like, who's just collecting figurines on an Ape Academy game on the PSP to show your mates? Like, as in, like, just...
It's a fair question.
I don't get it. Like, as in, but it's just like... And so it's not just this game, obviously. You can hear the ire I'm piling upon this. Any game that has figurine collected in it needs to get in the fucking sea and just have a think about
Smash
itself.
Bros.
Yeah, but exactly. Yeah, exactly. I fucking love Smash Brothers, but I'm specifically thinking about Smash Brothers, thinking, what is the point in that fucking part of that game? Oh, drives me insane. You get to pick a monkey. You can have like 9 monkeys, what they look like. I had to pick one that was wearing goggles because I can't stand their eyes in Ape Escape. That's not general monkeys. Ape Escape monkeys' eyes are so soulless.
Did they look too human?
A lot of people say that about monkeys, don't they? Or like, apes of kinds, don't they? They're like, oh, you can see they've got very human eyes. But they don't have very...
just slap some goggles on and be right.
They don't have very human hands or tails, do they? Like, but yeah, it's just so weird. Like, they're the most soulless eyes in a game, I think, an Ape Escape monkey. So I picked one specifically with sunglasses / goggles on.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the only customization you get in the game.
Cool.
Party games. Fun.
Right.
Very simplistic. So, for example, one is you basically playing air hockey, but you're a monkey. You are your bat. What is it? What is it with air hockey? What is it? A paddle. You are the monkey is the paddle, and you move the paddle around, and you hit the puck, and then you score 3 points, and you win or you lose. And then there's also things like a hammer throw, like an Olympic hammer throw. Right. You've got to get the angle right. You've got to tap the buttons to get up the speed and get the angle right and throw the hammer. What else is there? I'm trying to think of all the generic games that you could kind of think of from a party point of view. So there's like monkey boxing. Now that sounds like, you know, something that like, you know, some weird porno channel. No, but actually what it is that you just have one fist and it's like you have to use your left hand to hit the other monkey, but you're constantly bouncing around the ring and you're not running after the monkey, like as in the ring is just pushing you from rope to rope, and actually it's really, you've kind of got
it's more a timing thing.
You've got to bring your monkey under control at the right time when the left side of your monkey is facing the other monkey. It's a lot harder than it sounds.
I was going to say.
And actually the concept of it, you're like, oh, this is actually a little bit to think about, because in the execution of it, the instructions that are given to you on each of these party games are just like, left stick moves you, like as in like, you know, like as in like this way.
But we're not going to tell you how.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't. It's like A is punch and B is whatever. And then the game started getting a bit more obscure than that as well. So it's like, see, like, and they're probably the more fun ones, but they're still very simple in their execution. So juggling, like a monkey throws your monkey a ball, and you've got to tap either. I think it's like triangle or circle. Triangle's your left hand, circle's your right hand. So you tap triangle, it comes out your left hand, goes into the sky, tap circle, triangle, circle, get into a rhythm, throws another ball in, triangle, circle, another ball in, triangle, circle, and you're kind of like, you're juggling. And the couple of times you do it, it's quite difficult. A lot of the games, I would say, a lot of the party games, for as simple as they are in their execution, are quite difficult to do. Then you start getting to the ones like, your monkey has to present a rose to other monkeys that are coming past you in the street, and you have to time it correctly to give them the rose. And the time and the time limit of the game is how long it takes for the day to go by, which is like a minute or something like that. And you're there trying to give a rose to other monkeys, but if you get in their way while they're on their commute, then that's bad too. Like, it's just like, I don't understand what's going on. Like,
how is that making them more evil? I think I get where you're coming from. What is Specter's plan here?
I don't really understand. Like, I'm trying to think of like other ones that are just so just weird. Like, have
to give some kind of like Nobel speech or something.
It's like a skydiving one, which is pretty straightforward. You just have to fall like through some basically like
Sky.
Yeah. Sky, yeah. That's how they instruct you when you do it, you know. Like, as in, you jump out of the plane and crawl through some sky.
Hope for the best.
Yeah, I think you pick up monkeys as you go and stuff. And that was one of the times I got a collectible. I moved towards what I thought was a monkey, and it's like, oh, here's a trophy. And I'm like, I don't want it. You are pointless. This whole game is pointless. But yeah, it just like so. I'd say it's quite lumpy in difficulty. I use that quite a lot. I think I'm just terrible at games because every game is lumpy in difficulty. But for being a party game, I'd say it's not super easy. That is in, you know, you do kind of get that, oh, this is quite a difficult sort of thing considering you've given me one instruction, which is move left or move right. Nearly all the games are just move left or right or up or down. You'd think they have 4, 5, 6 other buttons you could use, and it's like, no, just use the analog stick.
We know
please.
what you're here for.
Move your monkey around. And I got to school year 4, and then I started to really struggle out of the 7, and I was like, wow, you know, I get the idea is probably to encourage replayability, because they're like, oh, you have to make a line, so you have to get 3 games in a row that you're good at to be able to make that line before you can move up. So it's just like, just keep going back until you're better at it. Cheers. Like, I get that. You know what I mean? I'm not going to bag on it for that, really. But, yeah. Is this the most unnecessary game I've ever played? Ever? Maybe not. It's in the bag of. It's definitely in the FA Cup drawer of unnecessary games. That is in. I can imagine there is a man pulling little silver balls or polished balls out of a bag, and this would be in here. It would be Chesterfield versus Ape Academy in a 4th round replay for unnecessary games. And yeah, so I'd say it suffers in its execution compared to something like Mario Party, for example. Like, and you could do with something like, you know, like whereas Mario Party's got a lovely board, you play on a board and you kind of do different things on there, and you know, you feel like you're in a board game on a Mario Party. And this is just like, oh, play noughts and crosses, like is in on a tiny little screen, but you're not actually playing noughts and crosses, you're just doing the mini games, and the mini games are just press one button and the instructions are shit. You know, and I quite like Ape Escape as a universe, Ape Escape-verse. But yeah, there's just not enough here to hold anything, including the juggling balls. So yeah, I'd say 4 out of 10. I had fun moments, but they were fleeting. So much like the monkeys passing me by with the rose when I was trying to get them. So yeah, you know. Monkey games, I'm hoping you might have had more
monkey joy.
More monkey joy. More monkey see, more monkey do.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna eat my cake.
Sort of. So, I mean, Super Monkey Ball, right? Like, you control a monkey, you tilt a little world for it to go through, and you aim to get to a goal, right?
Aye.
Aye is indeed one of the monkeys. Captain. And other jokes. So this is I don't know what's going on with it.
It's a weird theme, isn't it?
Yeah, it's funny that. So like this was given to me as a gift, right? From when I left a job. It was for a charity. We would go through the charity shops and we would put stuff on eBay. When I was leaving, the person I was working with had brought in some old stuff, and amongst them was this Vita game, and it happened to be Super Monkey Ball. I was like, oh yeah, shit! I used to play that on the GameCube back in the day. I loved it to bits. And she was like, oh well, just take it then. My gift to you, leaving gift.
Giving you a poison chalice. Just take it. Somebody take it.
Well, I took it gladly, and mucked about with it a little bit, and I thought, oh yeah, like it looks good, right? You know, it definitely looks the part. It's got that kind of fun, like old school sort of Sega arcade vibe. You know, like really saturated colours and like really good looking textures and models, and the levels look the part and all that kind of stuff. And I remember playing it and thinking like, oh yeah, like it really reminds me of the original GameCube game. Fast forward a few years, and I now have a version of Super Monkey Ball on the PS2,
Yep.
which is kind of like a deluxe version of that one. And
Is that Banana Blitz? Is that one?
oh, that's a good question. Can't remember.
Is the most recent one Banana Blitz HD? I feel like that's the one they charge the most for on the Switch shop.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know if it's the same one or if this was just like Super Monkey Ball Deluxe on the PS2. Yeah. But point is that rather than just dropping you into this abstract world in which you have a monkey in a ball and you are taking them what is basically through a giant marble run, it puts like a story wrapper around it. There's cutscenes that make no fucking sense whatsoever. I think the monkeys talk, from what I can remember, or nearly talk, and it's all a bit weird, and it makes zero fucking sense and is completely unnecessary. However, compared to this game, having gone back to it more recently, it's like fucking Shakespeare. It's so... So at the start of this game, like, I think the monkeys can travel through time now. It's not appropriately or adequately explained.
That's not so different from Ape Escape, where they do travel through time.
No, but what is slightly concerning is that in the intro sequence, one of the monkeys seems to get shrunken down into a ball, but then they're controlling the board that their own ball and monkey is on. So I don't know if they're meant to be like small robotic versions of themselves, or if there's some like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids kind of shenanigans going on. I don't know.
No.
I never noticed it before until I went back and was like, what the fuck is actually happening here? And you get into the menus, and they're all like these kind of like almost like sleek space station type sci-fi vibes, which is really fucking jarring because everything else has been kind of jungly, in Super Monkey Ball, because monkeys. Yeah. They don't live in space stations. No. Spoiler alert.
Well, apart from that one that got sent to space, didn't it?
Yeah.
That feels like it's going to slip into that Ricky Gervais podcast where there's like the definite episode where Carl Pilkington's talking about the monkey controlling the space station with a banana. It feels like this game. Like,
it's and you kind of realise very, very quickly that it's going to be weirdly restrictive because red flag number one always is there's no button controls for the menu. It's touch screen only, which immediately makes me worry. Yeah. Like it always feels like it's like a mobile phone port or something like that. So okay, you go into it, and it does give you the option of actually controlling the game with the analog stick. Like you can select it as an option from the touchscreen menu. You use the touchscreen to tell it to use the analog stick. Yeah. Or like, what is the fucking point in that? Why can't I use the analog stick on the menu, you plum?
I was waiting for you to blow up there. I was like, come on, tell me how angry you are, please.
It's baffling. And like, you can use the gyro as an alternative control method, but fuck that.
Yeah.
And you get into the levels, and you're like, and I remembered why I had that feeling of deja vu when I played it before, and it was like, are these actually the same levels? Like, and they've just reskinned them a little bit. And I had a quick check, and turns out there's entire wikis dedicated to dissecting which Super Monkey Ball level ended up where. And yeah, it turns out quite a few of them are rehashed, or at least like updated in some way. Fuck knows how. But you go in, and it's like, this feels so dull. This feels so boring. Like the original Super Monkey Ball was vibrant, colourful, it was energetic. Yeah. And this, like, you go back into it, and it's just, it feels so fucking pedestrian. And you go through it, the difficulty, like you found with your one, like the difficulty spikes big time. And suddenly you're having to pull off jumps and thread the eye of a needle and all that kind of stuff. Or the one that did for me and very nearly made me throw my Vita through a fucking window was trying to go up a pyramid where like the layers were like off center to each other, and there were like comically small steps that you couldn't get up. So you had to find where they like ran into each other enough that you could like guide this monkey.
I've just had a Super Monkey Ball sized ball land in my stomach there because I know what level type you're talking about on this game, like, all these games. Like
it was that point where it suddenly got like ludicrously difficult. And it was particularly pronounced with this because the control schemes just didn't feel like it was giving me the control I needed to do the thing.
Yeah.
Like, trying to do that with a decent analog stick on a nice controller, yeah, sure, okay, fine, frustrating but doable. Trying to do it on a PS Vita nubbin. I think one of my my note here is just my nubbin wasn't sensitive enough. Which,
yeah, Rich. Oh, it's so low brow for this podcast.
It's very low brow.
Unbelievable.
Also, the camera just wasn't happy at all. Like, it was. Like,
did you ask it?
Yeah, I tried. What are you doing?
Don't shake me anymore, please, sir.
However, that brings me to another point. Weirdly. Yep. Bear with me. So you've got all these levels that feel very rehashed and reheated and not particularly original. Okay, fine. There is a level creation option.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was the noise I made. So you go into it and you have to take a picture. With the PS Vita camera, you have to take a picture. So you
of
whatever you like. You take a picture, and then you are instructed to shake the Vita, and then you kind of get this like tipping point, and it says something about like, do you want to continue shaking or something like that. I can't remember the exact phrasing, but like the implication is that you could either stop now or carry on, and I don't really know what the difference was. I think maybe if you carry on, the thing that it creates is more difficult or something like that.
Yeah.
And the idea is you take the picture and then it creates a level based on the picture.
This sounds incredibly good.
It's
as a feature.
Incredibly shit.
Oh.
So I took
sound like a sad race car.
Oh. So I tried it a few different times. I tried a few different like shapes of things, bits around the room, and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, basically,
was there any guide to say what would work or what wouldn't?
No.
Okay.
And what it did every single time was it almost, I assume, took like kind of lights and darks in the picture, and then basically just used a tile set.
Okay.
To like put a level together. So it would always be very, very flat, very, very square tiles. And a lot of them would have like little bumps that were kind of the PlayStation symbols as obstacles. Right, and then some things would move occasionally.
I feel like this part of your game has been built by the monkeys in my game.
Possibly. Possibly. It would explain a lot. So, you have options to like share them with friends and, all this kind of stuff. You don't, because it's Super Monkey Ball and it's on the PS Vita. Who the fuck is still playing this? And it feels like one of those things that if it just given you, say, like, tools, do it like the park creation stuff in Tony Hawk or something like that. You can pop a half pipe here or pop a ramp there. Great. Like, that is a really good idea. And it just wasn't. Like, I can see what they were trying to do, but it's a swing and a miss. So then you're left with the mini games. Which again is a classic Super Monkey Ball. They would always be really fun party games. They'd be great for crowding around the telly. Yeah, we have like Monkey Target and all that kind of stuff.
It's fun.
Yeah. These
I have had fun with a monkey before.
You have indeed.
Yeah, no.
And so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, give or take. So like, there's more mini games in there than, say, the first Monkey Ball, but I think nowadays it's kind of par for the course. So you got bingo, bowling, rodeo, number ball, battle billiards, pixie hunt, love maze, and monkey target. Right? So monkey target,
all top 10 hits for the banana splits.
that would be fun if true. So they are a mixed bag at best. And the problem is that quite a few of them are, like, you get variants that you can do. So, say, Monkey Target is a good one, where you would guide your monkey down a ramp, fling off the ramp, pop the ball open, use them like wings, and glide down to a target and aim for some different points, right? So when we played it before on the we'll call it the deluxe version of Super Monkey Ball. Fuck knows if that's what it's called on the PS2. But you would go through, you would have various rounds, wouldn't you? And the kind of target configuration would change and all that kind of stuff. On this one, the targets always stay the same.
Oh.
The wind changes, the wind speed changes like it did on the other one.
Yeah.
But the actual layout of the thing you're aiming at stays the same unless you choose a different version of the game to start with, of which there were like 3.
Right, okay.
So instantly, it feels more limited.
Yeah.
You know, as a mode. And it kind of carries through to the others.
On a game that's at least 10 years younger. Almost. That is a
fair
port,
bit.
at least.
Yeah. And like, you have things like the rodeo, where you have to use the rear touchpad to like jump your ball around to pick up bananas, and you can bash into each other, and it's kind of like a demolition derby type thing, but really dull. Like, really dull. The battle billiards was kind of fun, because you would, instead of just normal billiards, which was on one of the original monkey balls, this one you're kind of just belting them at each other and trying to pick up a flag and knock each other into pockets. That's it. You have like 3 balls each. There are 4 players. That is as entertaining as it gets.
Yeah.
Some of them are literally just like, there are different numbers on different balls on the screen, and you are pressing the touchpad to try and get the numbers in order as more come onto the screen.
Right, okay.
I was bored. Yeah. It committed the cardinal sin of video gaming. I was bored by this game.
I feel like both of these games have reduced us to having absolutely nothing to say on a podcast. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it just feels like they're just all like, meh.
This is the thing, right? And like, I did something I have never done, right? I part exchanged this partway through when I should have been playing it. Like, I just got rid. I was having a clear out, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. No, like, I feel like I've seen everything. Like, and it just, and I think you're absolutely right. Like, I think, like, were it more entertaining? Sure. Were it less entertaining, I would have something to talk about. Like, what is there? Like, it's not buggy. It works. It runs. It looks pretty enough. It's just dull.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to give it a 5, but that's on, like, technical prowess rather than actual gameplay. Like, find a GameCube and play one of the original ones. Like, go back to the start. Do not play this.
Yeah.
It is, like, bang average.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think that, you know, we always talk about the scores and stuff, and, you know, when we set out to never talk about the scores, but it's like, you know, the fact that you're saying it's bang average, it's right in the middle, it's serviceable, but are you having fun?
That's the thing. Like, the only reason I know I've just ragged on it for ages and then given it 5. Yeah. The reason I'm not giving it, say, like a 4 or a 3 is because I can imagine that if you had 4 people and 4 Vitas, yeah, sure. Like, I could see how some of these things would make sense. But, like, Pixie Hunt, where you're having to press things on the screen while pointing your camera at seemingly nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, I don't understand what we're trying to do. It seems utterly pointless.
Just another Vita thing, or a PSP, or even a Sony sort of thing.
We've got a feature.
Yeah.
Use it.
So, I don't want to open this kind of worms right now, but it feels like Sony do a bad job of making good use of their features, like iToys, or all the bells and whistles on a Vita, or even the PlayStation Move. Dare I say, I've never played it, but PSVR, I mean, is that great? I don't know. That isn't, but I never hear anybody going, I can't wait to get home and play my PlayStation VR, or to have one.
Touchpads. Controllers.
Oh yeah, the weird controllers that freaked me out. The PlayStation 4 thing with the option share buttons and the weird fucking eye thing on the front of it, whatever you want to call it. I don't know, the little feely, bobbly thing. Do you know what I mean? Just like, it feels like with Sony, they just make Sony, it's like they're all just so tucked up in their own, we have a feature or a new technology. And they just kind of, I don't want to go as far as to butcher it, but I don't think they make the most of them, really.
It feels a little, because I think you're absolutely right, for one thing. Like, it seems as though sometimes it's features for features' sakes. Like, I can kind of understand, say, with I think this PS5 has the triggers that, you know, the resistance changes and stuff like that. I can kind of see why that might be entertaining. But, like, you put it like the way you just did, and it feels like they look at Nintendo and are like, oh, they're always innovating. They're always coming up with cool stuff and, like, innovative ways of using
that's
the tech.
How they sell
Nintendo's
like, no, they probably sell it through good games and great brands.
And like, there was, I can't remember where I read it. It might have been in the Retro Gamer handheld special or something like that. Like there was something somewhere about how for a long time Nintendo's philosophy was like getting the most sort of use out of aging hardware and coming up with clever ways of using old kit.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if you can't do that, then there's no point slapping a camera on it and a touchpad because the rest of it's not there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you've got a point. And yeah, like Super Monkey Ball is not an inherently bad game. It is an inherently dull game without other people around.
It's interesting that I'm just thinking all the way back to episode 2 when I talked about Mercury and how I feel like it sounds like I'd rather play that. And also, from what I've played of Super Monkey Ball before, I think I'd rather play Mercury in terms of the moving the level around to move something around situation. Yeah. But that's not got exciting skins necessarily or anything like that. But it just feels like a more complete game than what I've played of Super Monkey Ball before. And it sounds like this version certainly. Sorry, I don't want to slap the entirety of Super Monkey Ball with that, but
that's why it's kind of a weird thing to try and describe, because I think ultimately, like, older school Super Monkey Ball games had a bit of charm to them, had a bit of character, and weirdly, this feels like something's missing there. Like I don't know what it is. Like whether it's the stage design and the backdrops just weren't quite there, or if it was in the sound design or the way it was controlling or something like that, but something is off. It feels off with it.
Sounds like I needs to go to Ape Academy and get one of those little sirens on his head and just be like fall in with the computers with their soulless eyes. So right, well, we don't have to say any more about that. What a shit pod.
Mediocrity has returned.
Yeah, you don't have
after the dizzying highs.
Don't bother listening to that. So we will be back next time with more free play goodness and more and more PSP. Next time, in fact, we'll be talking about some gaming collections, won't we? So we're looking at EA replaying Sega Mega Drive collections, and that'll be interesting to see how they got on the...
Yeah, I think it's all PSP.
PSP stuff, so that'll be fun to look at that. So yeah, cool. Anyway, thanks very much for listening, guys, and we'll see you soon.